Hello, Celia.
Hi, Holly.
So today, I'd like to talk about how to avoid scammers and how to protect your money and your identity.
Okay, why are you thinking about scammers?
So this week, someone I know, someone who is elderly,
Mm.
was the victim or almost victim, luckily. This friend I know got an email, and it's something that I've actually gotten this exact email where it looks like it's coming from a good friend. So it says, in the sender, it says, Celia. And so I'm like, oh, it's from Celia. And it looks like Celia sending me photos. So my friend clicked on the link and it immediately prompted all these crazy pop-up windows that took over her screen and just said, malware, malware, call this number. So she calls the number, has no idea what's happening. Before she knew it, these people had kept her on the phone for 5 hours.
Saying what?
First, they got her identity. They had her confirm who she was. They told her that she was the victim of hackers. They get her comfortable with them. They make her feel like she's the victim of some online scam. She is, for whatever reason, not putting two and two together that who she has is called is actually the scammer. She thinks she's calling to get help.
Well, that's not surprising. I mean,
Right.
so far it seems okay, right?
Absolutely.
And she's 80 and God love her for being on her computer. Just
I know, right?
side note. Yes.
Exactly. But so I don't know exactly what they told her, but they got her to tell them her social security number, her bank account, and her PIN. So many things that just screamed to me, danger, 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 never do that. They said her money was no longer safe in the bank, which of course it isn't because they have her information. But anyway,
Mhm.
they talk her into getting into the car. They stay on the phone with her the whole time. They even stay on the phone when she has to go to her bank teller. And they say, don't tell the bank teller what you're doing because she could be in on it. This could be an inside job.
What is she doing at the bank?
She is pulling out all of her money, all of her cash. So they give her all of her cash. The teller even says, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And she leaves again with the person on the phone.
How much cash are we talking about?
$11,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, painful. So they instruct her to get in the car, and she drives the car across the city and ends up at this weird little storefront. I don't know what's in there other than a machine that allows you to put in cash and get Bitcoin in return. So the guy instructs her to go inside and do this, and he tells her that's the only way to keep her money safe.
Excuse me for 1 second. It's gonna be safe because she's transferring her cash to Bitcoin and that's safer? Is that what
Th
they're telling her?
That is what he is saying. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What ends up happening is that it is not remotely traceable once it is converted into Bitcoin. So that's what he's doing, but she doesn't know that, and the good news is she's so freaked out by the idea of Bitcoin that she looks across the street and happens to see another bank that she happens to have a savings account at. And she quickly turns on her heels and says, you know what? I'm just going to take my money over to my other bank. And, he pleads with her to stay on, but she finally hangs up. So it was really
Oh,
frightening. And it just made her feel so vulnerable and embarrassed.
I'm sure, but I mean, I can see where they reel you in
Yeah.
and keep you on the phone the whole time and
Yep. I mean,
so that you aren't able to reach out to anyone, right? And say, "Wait, is this legit?"
exactly. They wanna keep you talking. They wanna keep you
Okay.
afraid. So I think they're always building on the tale that they're telling, talking to her about what might happen, which is why she relinquished her Social Security number. There are reverberations because now she has fraud alerts on all of her credit cards. She had to call the Social Security office because there's nothing to be done unless someone tries to use her Social Security card or number.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but that just means that you have to be hyper alert forever. I mean, there's
So
no time limit.
so after this happened, there was no activity on her Social Security card. We assume the scammers were like, "Oh, we're not gonna touch this now. She's on to us."
Possibly, possibly.
Okay.
Or I don't know, I mean, they might sell her social somewhere else. I mean, I think that happens too.
Yep.
Um, But this led me to go down the rabbit hole of trying to find other stories and just trying to educate myself about what is happening out there.
I'm just thinking of, like, how important is to educate elderly friends and parents in this realm, because I know they can come at you in other ways too, not just through email.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is too, like you said, elderly, which is absolutely correct. And elderly people lose more money than anyone to scams. However, the more susceptible age group is actually people from 18 to 24 years old. They buy in.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's super surprising because you would just imagine they would be more savvy. However, I think maybe they're just very trusting of the internet and all things online. And that's probably why they, I don't know, fall for it. But everyone is vulnerable. And when I tell this story to people, I keep learning that this is going on all the time. And people I know, a friend of mine's daughter went through the exact same thing. That young woman received a phone call from the FBI. So on her phone it said FBI. And when she was suspicious, he said, "Oh, well, go find my name, go to the FBI website and oh yeah, do you see my name? Robert yada yada." And the phone number and his picture were exactly what he was saying he was. So she was convinced, and this is a 20-year-old. And before she knew it, he had talked her into depositing $2,000 into Bitcoin.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, so they're good at what they do.
Then the last story I want to talk about was actually featured in a magazine called The Cut. It was about a 30 something mom who is also a New Yorker magazine financial reporter. And it was a voice phishing scam. So they called her. It was a supposed call from Amazon, because of course that comes up on the caller ID.
Right.
It was Amazon customer service, and they were asking her if she spent $8,000 on equipment. And this led from one thing to another. They kept her on the phone for I don't know how many hours, but hours and hours. And it led to her believing she was on the phone to the CIA. And she believed that all of her information was being used in a criminal investigation and that her family was in danger. And
Wow.
it's amazing because in the interview, she talks about how she kept trying to flag herself, saying, "I don't think I believe you. I don't think I buy this." But they were able to each time talk her into like getting her back on track. And before she knew it, she actually put $50,000 of her savings into a shoebox and handed it to a stranger in the street.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I would be very interested to know more about the psychology behind getting someone to do this kind of thing, and a smart, educated person.
And that might be another show. So,
Okay, yeah, that's true. It's probably very interesting but lengthy.
absolutely. I'm sure it's being studied in colleges all around the United States and elsewhere.
How can we prevent this?
So, one of the things I've learned is that scammers can call you from any phone number. I had no idea this was possible, but they can call you from what looks like the FBI, the CIA, your bank, Google, Amazon. But those companies will never, ever call you. But it's tricky. They call from what looks like direct lines. They can say, "Hi, I'm Jim." And you go see Jim on the website, and it sounds convincing. But if you called the number back, you would not be talking to Jim anymore.
So maybe that's a tip.
Yes, that is
Say, "I'll
definitely
call you right back."
exactly. One other thing is you have never won something via email, ever. If you ever get an email that says you've won, might be exciting, just delete it. Delete it and move on with your life. Number 3 is it's never give out your social security number, never give out your bank information because no government agency or any reputable business will ever ask you for these personal details. And it's tempting, but try not to use public Wi-Fi because that is an instance where hackers can read or get access to all of your private data, which could include, passwords and login credentials. And then the last thing is obviously Bitcoin. Anything about Bitcoin, ignore it, delete it, hang up on it, whatever it is. If it says Bitcoin, ignore it.
So I'm reviewing everything that you've just told me, Holly, and it's a lot. I just don't understand how they keep these people on the phone for so long?
If you're in the moment and someone is telling you this and they sound like they're an authority in any way, you feel like you have to listen to them. We're sort of programmed that way. But if anyone ever tells you that you're in a criminal investigation or that you're going to be arrested, hang up. Hang up. Just do exactly what they tell you not to. You just hang up
Yeah.
the phone.
That seems like a good if you're at all unsure, just don't do what they're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, I think with all of these 3 people, all these examples I was saying, is they try and get you to move your money. We'll move your money to protect it. In no world are you supposed to move your money to protect it, and especially not into Bitcoin.
Wow. Well, you're lucky that your elderly friend didn't have her money taken. Like, good for her, because it sounds like a lot of people aren't as lucky.
Yeah, I actually shared the New Yorker magazine woman with her afterward, and I think she felt like, "Okay, I'm not alone in this," and another
Right.
very bright individual fell for this. So, yes, the takeaway for all of us should be that we just wanna hang up on them. We wanna hang up, we wanna delete the email, stop texting, block their number, anything to get away from them. And then tell someone you trust, and then call the FTC.
Can you call even if you didn't fall for it, but you were contacted
Yes.
in some form?
Yeah, the Federal Trade Commission wants to be alerted of any and all scams. They have a website that is all about how to avoid scammers, and it also gives you common scams so that you can brush up on just what's out there and what is happening out there that's so, so bad.
And I imagine the scams are changing, like, once everybody gets word of one scam, or not everybody, but a lot of people, they probably mix it up. I mean, they're smart. These people are not dumb
Yeah,
that are I mean, they're getting shoe boxes of money from
shoe boxes of
people.
money. I kinda wish someone would bring me a shoe box of money.
Well, yeah, don't we all? Holly, thank you, because I did not know about this, so I appreciate the information.
My pleasure. I hope we all sleep better knowing how better to handle these situations. Thanks, Celia.
Until next time.